Welcome back to Cheche, the program where opinion counts on Citizen TV. Our guest this morning is the chair of the National Security and Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate, Mohammed Yusuf Hajj. And before the break, you told us that you agree with the Interior Cabinet Secretary that refugee camps should be closed. You disagree with the manner in which he's doing it, because he, of course, ordered the immediate closure. A lot of the Somali refugees there claim that Somalia is unsafe. What would you say to them?
Well, what we know is the Kenya Defense Forces, AMISOM, have taken over a lot of land all the way from our border up to Kismayo. And most of these people, as we understand, are coming from Jubaland and central Somalia. And therefore, central Somalia is Mogadishu, where the capital of the state. I think
and Jubaland would be right next to Kenya.
Yes, yes. I think it is secured enough. But as humanly, some of these people have been here for the last 23 years. They came when we were 2 years old. Others were born there. All they need is the security on the other side of the border. And that's why I say it needs a structural manner of moving them. USCR should be made to put camps in those areas and give them the facilities that they used to give them here, and facilitate them to go back slowly to their own homes. But leaving Kenya, they must leave, because their country needs. Some of them were educated here, and they speak very good English. And they can go and work there. In Jubaland, you remember in southern Sudan, I was PC in Rift Valley, in Kakuma. Some of those refugees are ministers and very senior people there. Similarly, these people, if they go back, they can find employment in their own country, so they must go back.
If they argue, though, that it's unsafe, and we know that AMISOM forces and KDF are still there, still trying to secure Kenya, why then should they go back? If Somalia is not safe enough to withdraw AMISOM forces, why should it be safe enough for the refugees to return?
Well, that's what I'm saying is, we feel some part of their country is safe. Of course, some part of their country is not safe. Even in Mogadishu, I'm told, there's a huge refugee camp. But the question is, for how long can these people live in Kenya? Because the degradation of the environment in that area is really very serious.
But there are stakeholders here in this business of refugees who will resist the movement, the removal of the refugees, because it's a livelihood, particularly expatriates, people, NGOs. If the refugees come, what will they do?
Well, they have to go and look for another job. There's already a refugee in Iraq and also in Syria. They should go to those areas and find employment. Kenya cannot take responsibility for their employment, really.
Now, we asked you a question earlier about corruption within KDF. Again, allegations of corruption have surfaced with regard to the KDF's conduct in Somalia itself, allegations that they're involved in charcoal trading. What do you make of these?
I think this is a completely untrue.
Completely untrue.
Untrue. I read a paper one time. They call it India something, I don't know. Indian Ocean, where they say even the minister is involved. I mean, that is rubbish. These are people who are against, and I think it must be being peddled by Al-Shabaab and the Shabaab sympathizers.
You don't think it warrants investigation?
I beg your pardon?
You don't think that the allegations warrant investigation?
It should be investigated. It should be investigated, but I know it is not true.
Why do you know so?
I know because I was not involved in in selling charcoal myself.
But you're a different person from those.
There was a disagreement between the United Nations and the KDF about the sale of charcoal. In fact, the United Nations wanted that charcoal to remain not exported. But it was exported. That's the money that they got from selling charcoal. They bring smuggled goods like sugar from all over the world, and all the other contraband, which ends up here.
Do you know how many ports Somalia have? They have so many ports. Not only Kismayo and Mogadishu, they have Barawa, they have other places. How do you know whether those charcoal were being exported from those areas.
There was charcoal in Kismayo.
Yeah, Kismayo itself is a very huge area, yeah. And they can use dows and other things to
what
export.
I was saying is KDF did not support the United Nations move to have the charcoal there. They supported the export.
No, I don't think it is true. I don't think it is true.
Okay, but there are also questions about Kenya's real motive in Somalia. We're told it's to secure Somalia because, of course, we have suffered the brunt of, we've borne the brunt of Somalia's insecurity. But of course, there are allegations beyond the charcoal of other motives, such as, oil and gas deposits. And that is why, KDF is allegedly still there, to have a toehold in that when, the Somali state becomes a fully functioning one.
This is not true, Madam. Because I think this is a propaganda. There are many people...
Propaganda by whom?
Propaganda by both international community and few disgruntled persons in Somalia. I know they have been accusing the previous Somali president for signing an agreement with Kenya because Kenya wanted to extend its economical zone. And it doesn't affect any part of Somalia. These are people who don't understand what they are doing. Tanzania has
international
signed.
Community, who exactly do you mean?
Those who are maybe interested in oil in Somalia.
Such as?
I don't know. I
but you chair the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate.
Yeah.
You must know.
I have started only about 6 months ago, so I will know in future who they are.
You don't want to tell us.
I will know in future.
You don't want to tell us.
Yeah, but there are other interests. Kenya have no desire whatsoever taking even 1 inch of even the soil of Somalia. I can tell you.
The sea.
Even the sea.
Even there is dispute about where when you do the map of Somalia, where they drop, there is a map, there is a move to have it cross this way, went this way, because inside the ocean there is expected to be oil.
No, it is not true. We border with Tanzania on the right and Somalia on the left.
Okay.
It is just parallel,
So if that's not true, what about Jubaland? Because, of course, Kenya is also accused of trying to set up a proxy state in Jubaland that will be partial to its own interests, which the Somalia government is not happy with.
Well, the fact is we would like to see a Somalia which is friendly to Kenya, and that's why we help Somalia. Similarly, there's nothing wrong for us to feel that whoever is going to run that region is friendly to Kenya. I mean, every country has its own interests, and I don't know why Kenyans should feel embarrassed in their country trying to find ways of restoring their own interests.
Okay, so you're agreeing with the charge that Kenya is trying to set up a proxy?
No, not proxy, not proxy at all. We are going to help, no, not even puppets. We will help any authority that will be put there by the Somali government. And this is being done by IGAD, not Kenya alone. Not Kenya alone. Yeah.
So Jubaland is an IGAD project?
Yes, it's an IGAD project. Ethiopia is involved, Uganda is involved, Kenya, Ethiopia. Everybody is involved. It's not Kenya.
But the government in Mogadishu is against Jubaland.
Well, why would they be against why their own constitution allows regional government? That's the question.
Because they think Jubaland is going to be a puppet state for Kenya.
Well, that is wrong. That is wrong. That's wrong. They have got what do you call Puntland. Yeah, whose puppet is it? Yes.
Right. So just in terms of the KDF strategy, in your capacity as chair of National Security and Foreign Relations, will you be asking for a clear exit plan and date for KDF? Because we don't know how long this operation is going to last.
Absolutely. I don't think it is under our mandate really to ask the government when they are going to pull out of there.
But isn't that part of the problem? Because they're being seen as an occupation force.
No, they are not. They are not. They are not. The Kenya is not an occupation force.
It's not, but they're perceived as an occupation force.
That is the wrong perception. Yes.
Because Al-Shabaab thinks they have no business being there.
Yes, well, Ethiopia is there. Why don't they think so?
The same, they feel the same about Libya.
Yeah, Ethiopia has pulled out and went back in.
Al-Shabaab have an agenda. They have an agenda to rule the whole of East Africa. And Kenya, as a nation, will not allow.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's hear from our viewers. Gabriel in Homer Bay agrees with you, saying crime has not gone up, it's just perception and alarmism and press blowing issues out of proportion and politicians failing to address root causes such as poverty and unemployment. The Turkana incident is a boundary issue and no one's talking about it. It's not a security issue as the press and politicians want the common man to believe. James from Mombasa is a bit skeptical of you and says, your discussion today would have been interesting and insightful, but your guest has been in the system for so long, he'll defend the government tooth and nail and will not tackle much of the issues. And then, of course, you were Minister of Defense when we had the Tana River clashes. Please ask about the border of Ijara and Tana River County. Is it security when Ijara is grabbing Tana River?
Thank you very much. That's a good question. Well, Garissa, Ijara is not grabbing Tana River boundary. I have put
there
a motion.
There are actually several questions about that.
Yes. What happens is, as it is now in Nyahururu, since colonial time, administrative boundaries, although they were mentioned in the Constitution, were not effective in a manner that will satisfy everybody. For example, people in Ijara, I will say the whole of Garissa County, with the exception of Garissa town, 7 kilometers, the rest is in Coast Province. But who are the people who live in that area? The people who live there are Somalis, like me. Who is going to go there and remove them from there? I was DC in Nyandarua. Nyandarua headquarters is in Nyahururu. Nyahururu is in Rift Valley. And Nyandarua is where? In Central Province. There are those areas all over the country. Some of them can be dealt with immediately. Some of them need a boundary commission to be appointed so that it can go into details and find out where is the rightful place for these people, for these boundaries. So there's no question of grabbing.
Okay.
Yes.
This from Abdullah in Wajir on the issue of identity. Ordinary Somalis feel like ordinary Kikuyu or Luya or any other Kenyans. The developmental neglect is not from the government, but from the community's leaders. Would you agree with that?
Well, you know, there's a perception. People think that a member of parliament can have some money somewhere where he can put a road.
The Constituency Development Fund?
No, that is peanut. What is that?
Okay, but what does that do, though, in terms of improving living standards?
National planning is where major roads and other facilities are given. It is the failure of central government, which have failed, really, to give development to those marginalized areas, not leaders. Leaders can shout in the house.
Now the country is devolved.
Yes.
Do you see?
Absolutely. This is the right time now. This is the right time when they should blame the leaders, the governor and the county assembly, who have been given the resources to plan and implement projects that are useful to the people.
But some people feel that Somali, like that person, feels that members of parliament are elected.
Yes.
They don't go there. They only go there during elections. They live in the city.
Why do they elect them if they only go there when they go to? It is not true. We have a fundamental problem, I must say, as a community. In the parliament here, members...
The National Assembly.
In the National Assembly, you don't see many people following their members of parliament. But in our case, what makes the MPs run away is you are expected during wedding to contribute money, funeral. When somebody is arrested, you are supposed to hire a lawyer. All those things really contribute
I think that's true of every MP in all over Kenya.
It is not. I have seen, I've been here in the parliament 15 years, and I have seen.
Expectations are higher.
Expectations are higher because of poverty, because of marginalization. That's a fact.
This from I don't know if it's Kayuki or I think maybe Karaoke. I am from Nyahururu, and I know the Honorable Hajj since the 70s when he was DC of Nyandarua. He's a very, very humble and honest man. May God protect his family. Because, of course, you said that your family had been threatened. But a question from Ibrahim in Garissa. What is the stand of the Senator on the repatriation of refugees back to Somalia as a matter of national interest? You've answered that. Secondly, how come he was behind Operation Linda Inchi, and the other day here in Garissa he was advocating for the issuance of national IDs to the refugees, the same people who are behind either directly or indirectly the insecurity in the country?
I think he
misunderstood you.
Misunderstood me. What I was asking is there are Kenyans, Somalis, who have gone to refugee because of poverty so that they can get food and shelter. I said they should be issued with ID and reintegrated into the community as soon as these people move away.
Okay. We'll take a break now. You're watching Cheche, the program where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV with the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Security and Foreign Relations, the Honorable Mohammed Yusuf Hajj. We'll focus on the initiatives announced to secure the nation when we come back.